All right, we are joined by future Hall of Famer Antonio Gates, former tight end of the Chargers. Antonio, thanks for joining us here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
How you doing today?
I'm better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm better than I was.
Yeah,
I say that, yeah.
We got your back. You're going to the Hall of Fame
Yeah.
at some point. Didn't happen this year. We appreciate you still joining us after that. Maybe it's a disappointing evening.
Yeah, it was. I think I was probably more surprised on how much it hurted.
Yeah.
You know, because you never know really how no one feels about you. You really never know until it happens, and then obviously it's a very elite group of people. It's a very elite group, but I think the pain is how much it hurt, how much it hurted. I think that was probably the most humbling experience because it was very painful to know that I didn't make it in, and but after obviously you go through your moments and stuff. Then when it was all said and done, I realized one moment really don't define you as a player. One moment doesn't define you and what you've done and the journey you've had. And then I started thinking, man, I've lost in certain areas, I've won in certain areas, and what did I do the next day? No matter win or lose, you move forward, right? You take it one day at a time. And that's kind of what was my motto, Then I started saying, you know what? Maybe the timing is just not right. Then I started talking to myself about it's just due season. Prayed a lot, and then I just said, man, it'll happen in due time. And just couldn't fathom the thought of letting the people who went through this journey with me down.
Yeah.
It was probably the most I felt for them because they really wanted it for me. They really was excited, and then they really put in the work because they went through my whole journey with me. So we think about the degree of difficulty as a football player, as any athlete, and for that matter, I don't see no one being able to have that same degree of difficulty. I was a basketball player who started as a rookie. So generally it's hard. You know how hard it is to start in the NFL as a rookie? But to start as a free agent is even harder. To start as a basketball player is even harder. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was just like, so what did I do wrong? So then, I went back to my human nature. What did I do wrong? Then I just say, man, it's just timing. Everything is just timing.
Got 116 career touchdowns. I don't think you did much wrong.
It's happening, man. It's going to happen. I agree. It'll happen.
You being a basketball player, it's the thing that got brought up every single time there was a Chargers game on TV and you were out there. What did you learn from the game of basketball that made you such a good tight end? What were you able to bring from that game that actually translated?
I think, my ability to get things at the highest point. Because I was undersized at basketball, right? So I always had to find ways to leverage bigger guys. And then once I got to the NFL, those same guys were 5'10". You know what I'm saying? Going there, 5'11". I just tried to box a guy that was 6'10", 6'9". But then I had to get the ball, reach the ball at the highest point. And I think that dynamic hand-eye coordination, it gave me a big advantage in the National Football League.
Right.
Because I was just the shortest guy, learning ways to maneuver as a shorter guy. Then you get to a point where you learn how to do those things, and then you become taller. Now I'm going against guys that's 5'10", 5'11", and I'm taller. So now I've learned to create space and learn how to reach this ball at its highest point, but now I don't have to, I'm bigger. You know what I mean? So I think that dynamic with the hand-eye coordination, learning how to create space was another thing too, and that's how I ran my routes. Because in basketball, you can't touch no one. Football, you can, but you always have to create space to get your shot off. And I think that helps me. To me, that was the reason why I was able to flourish so fast. I look up and I made the active roster, and I was like, this coach gonna get fired. You know what I'm saying? I was like, there's no way. You know what I'm saying? My whole goal was just like, my guys were like, I'm a Michigan guy, so most of my boys were like GM, plant guys. They were making $50,000, $60,000 a year. I'm like, practice squad guys were making like 120. I was cool. I'm like, I'm good. I'll be the highest, I'll make more money than all my boys. I look up and I'm on the active roster. I'm like, active roster, okay, well maybe they're gonna give me some days to work hard, some years to get better. I look up and I'm dressing. I'm like, I ain't played a game in college.
Right.
Not one game. So I'm thinking like, what do Marty Schottenheimer see that I don't? You know what I'm saying? He's trying to get up out of here fast. I'm playing in week 2. I'm like, he like, you dressing this week. We're gonna use you. And I'm thinking like, but you know, I'm like, you got the big eyes. I'm like, oh yeah. You know what I'm saying? I ain't played football ever. I'm just looking at Monson. I'm like, you're dressing. And I'm like, yeah. You know, you want to feel cool, like you ain't nervous. I'm like, oh yeah, for sure. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody else, these schools, these guys coming from Nebraska. Back then, Nebraska was a big powerhouse. All these guys that, in my mind, deserve to play, and yet he's focusing on me. And I remember still like yesterday, I caught my first pass against Rod Woodson. Drew Brees threw me the pass. I see Rod Woodson at safety. They called the play for me on third down, and I'm thinking like, y'all know I'm not about to get open against Rod Woodson. I've been playing Tecmo Bowl my whole life. He's the best cover corner. You know what I'm saying? I know that this is not happening, right? And boom, I went and beat him. And I was like, oh, that must be luck. They called it again. This is the same game. Second game of the season. I caught 3 first-down passes on Rod Woodson, back-to-back third downs in one drive. And then I just felt like my life was a blur. I looked up, Pro Bowl, All-Pro, Star, and I was just like, damn, how did that all happen? I could never see that. There wasn't no indication throughout. So this is why I was just like, how do I not get in?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I look up, boom, you broke the tight end record. 13 touchdowns, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying it in a condescending way because the guys who went in my opinion, kudos to those dudes. I hate to use what they've done. It was phenomenal. They are very well deserving. And I think you can't compare it to. It's just like what you've done is in its own space of its own, and what they've done is their own space of their own. I just know from a degree of difficulty, I don't see a player in the National Football League who's experienced this. You know, I just don't. A guy who signed the lowest contract in history to the, you know what I mean? I just, that range of what I've experienced, and God was willing to allow me to go through that journey to talk about it. I just can't see it. You know, why that wouldn't be honored, if you will, because it was hard. It was hard for me. I had to work my tail off. I stayed extra. All my teammates will tell you, when the practice was over, I stayed after and ran some more because they were dependent on me. But I didn't know how to accept all this responsibility, considering I was just a basketball player. And here I got the whole San Diego looking forward to seeing me. I'm on I'm on billboards, and I'm like, this is great. God built his playing Trump mind 10 times. I was trying to be a basketball player. He put me in a whole other realm of a space and allowed me to flourish, and I'm very grateful for that along my journey. So, like I said, due time, hopefully I will get in.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna help you with your case. All right. We'll help pushing 116 career touchdowns. What, 7th all time?
Yep.
Over 11,000 yards, and every basketball player thinks they can do what you do. Like, right? Every power forward's like, oh, I know how to rebound. I know how to, And so in the NFL has changed how they scout. So not only do you have the production, but you've got even the NFL changing the way they look. Oh, we'll grab this, power forward out of, wherever and bring them in. So, look.
Wichita State. It'd be
yeah.
It'd be like a guy playing, you know what I'm saying? Where did he play for? Oh, he's at Akron University. He played for, you know what I mean? It's like those youngsters, that's what they do. Because they like the blueprint of what a tight end is. 6'5", 6'4", 6'6", 6'7", and yet they can jump and run, and they're physical. So that power forward position, the transition is so easy. I always tell guys, and I've talked to like the Julian Thomases, I talked to the Jimmy Grahams, right, when they first got to the league, and I said the most underrated thing that people don't say about just the success that I had at the position was the toughness that I had possessed too.
Oh,
so like,
catch
I
the
don't
ball
like
over the
basketball
middle,
players just
run
saying,
block.
I'm gonna just come out here.
I
remember dislocating my finger and I put it back together in the second day of training camp. And I was like, look, I can't go home because I made a choice, right? So the fear too drove me more so than anything. I was fearful of getting cut because I decided to give up something that I worked for so long to play the game. It's like you giving up everything you worked for. You went to school for this, and you're doing something totally different. So now you're fearful, and that drove me more than anything, the fear.
Well, we enjoyed watching Antonio. We appreciate it. Good luck in the future. We know you're going to get in, and it's going to be all the sweeter, especially
Thanks, man.
after this year.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.